Hey guys, Nick here, and today we're getting into part 15 of What If Dale Survived the Remake. The last few episodes, I bet you guys can agree, we've built up for a heck of a story, and I really hope that you guys have been enjoying it because let me tell you, this has been like, so far, and I'm not even done with the story production-wise yet, one of the best stories that I've ever worked on or like thought of in general. But anyways, last time we got into Schumpert and his crew in the place where Carl, Morgan, and the baby were in Atlanta, and what's going to happen now. But before that, really quick, did you know that physicists believe there are two alternate realities in which we find ourselves in? One in which you subscribe to the Next Topics YouTube channel, and one in which you do not. So, I've said a bunch of scenarios and what-if scenes and everything because it's me, first of all. Second of all, it's funny about what could happen and what physicists believe could happen, which is really just what I think could happen. But let me set the scene for this one. If you don't subscribe to Next Topics, Adolf Hitler will come back from the dead in 2024 and approximately start World War V. It will be like an older, yet not older Hitler, by the way. And he'll start World War V. Why World War V? Well, Family Guy pretty much said it first. It's so intense, it skips over the other two. And yeah, for those of you who've never heard that or anything like that, you best believe it, because who knows? It could happen if Adolf Hitler were to spawn out of existence like he just got brought back with the Dragon Balls or some crap. But if you do subscribe to the Next Topics YouTube channel, you have a chance right now in your kitchen of your house itself to have a time machine directly teleported into your kitchen so you can change any moment of your past, your present, and your future. Now, if I were a betting man and someone who knew about making decisions, especially when it involves a time machine versus a possibility of a World War V, I would go with the option to change anything in my past, present, or future, mainly because I love the crap out of exploring multiple realities and what-if ideas, if the channel didn't tell you enough about that itself. So, I'd go with the option to have a time machine instead of Adolf Hitler coming back and starting World War V. So, you'd best subscribe to the Next Topics YouTube channel. With all that out of the way, let's get into the episode. So, if you guys haven't caught up with the series, I suggest you do that now, especially parts 12 and 13, because you definitely are gonna need to. But anyways, the basis of last episode is Schumpert and his group, who had went after Carl, Morgan, and the baby, tracked them directly to Morgan's apartment where they're laying themselves low. And Schumpert and them have all searched around the area, bar it getting, Haley got her freaking foot impaled on the doormat, the welcome mat with the spikes, and they've gotten into the apartment after searching all around the area. And once they get in, they accidentally set a tripwire, which releases the axe that was perched up originally higher, like literally right at the top of the staircase, and that's what Rick and Michonne had to avoid, also to keep Morgan alive, because, Rick wasn't obviously gonna kill him at any point, because Rick held people who saved him in high regard, obviously. I don't know why I'm explaining this. I'm just explaining why the axe is higher up now. Or lower down now. And it would kill, like, maybe one or two, like, minor characters, soldiers. So it wouldn't be too big a deal. So after that's done, and it doesn't seem like there's any more traps, Schumpert advises the group to, while remaining with caution, slowly go up the staircase with their guns drawn. Because this place is a house of horrors. But in doing this, they really don't expect anything else until another person sets off a second tripwire. And this second tripwire sets off a 4-shotgun brigade blast. And this would be, and is, a direct ripoff and callback to the first Saw movie, where at the end, the 4 shotgun blasts killed Detective Tap's partner, or whatever his name was, Singh. And yeah, it's pretty much a direct callback and ripoff to that. And when the shotgun blasts go off, because I love the trap, first of all, but when the shotgun blasts go off, it kills Haley, Ben, that's just a picture of Ben that I had to find, and Alan. After that, Morgan and Carl whirl around from behind a corner and corner Shumpert with their guns drawn, because I feel that with the shotgun blasts, he would be like the only one left. And if he wasn't, Carl and Morgan would kill all the other soldiers, because I'm pretty sure that they both would have deduced that this guy was the third in command, or at least like one of the top soldiers of the governor. But Shumpert says that he's the last one left and that they don't have to do this or shoot him or do anything else. They've made their point. And he didn't really expect them to be here, but he was just not thinking they could do all this in such a short amount of time. Morgan says that that's none of his business, and why should they save or spare his life whenever all those people in Woodbury died because of his leader? Shumpert says that he had nothing to do with that. The governor got out on his own. And if it were up to him, the governor would have gotten out sooner. Before he can explain this anymore, because there's obviously a more detailed explanation, Carl just straight out yells and curses even at Shumpert's general directions, saying, "You got my mom and everyone that we cared about in that town killed, even if it was just your leader." Shumpert says once again, he didn't have anything to do with this. The governor got out on his own the second that Rick left, and he doesn't blame Rick for leaving if they wanted to protect the town and the people more. He gets that. And the governor got out on his own. And he even goes into this further, saying, if he and Martinez were truly on board with the governor, they, for one thing, would have shot all those people along with the governor, and for another, they would have rescued the governor secretly and possibly even gotten themselves killed. But no, the governor did all that himself. And while he respected who the governor was, him and Martinez, he never expected him to go crazy like this. And he never expected his leader to be harboring such a huge secret. But he gets why Carl and Morgan feel this way, even if Morgan wasn't with them, like, originally. And now, he didn't even want to come out and kill him or the baby. He would never kill a baby. So him and all those other soldiers, they were just doing what they were told. It's not that they wanted to do it, especially not kill a baby. That was all the governor's idea. He would never go along with that, and he knows Martinez wouldn't either. Carl just breaks down crying because he actually believes the governor, and he just mourns the loss of his mother and all the people that he lost in the town. Morgan also would feel very upset because he kind of set off that motion by shooting. So he would hold this in high regard too. And he and Carl would just start to believe Shumpert and maybe let him be on the team when suddenly, from the right side, almost seemingly out of nowhere, a gunshot rings out from Rick. While all this talking and distraction and everything had been going on, Rick, along with Martinez, had snuck in without them even knowing. They were so preoccupied with the conversation. And Shumpert is now lying dead on the ground. Martinez, he would originally snap at Rick for this and even get away from him, seeing him just as crazy as the governor was. But really, Rick has so much more a reason to be crazy than the governor. He just lost a zombified daughter. Rick lost everyone that he cared about except his kids and his friend. So he understands. He's going to keep his mouth shut. Rick would have a very sorrowful and very good reunion with Morgan and talk about what happened beforehand and that they're glad to see each other. Rick would also have a very tearful and great reunion with his kid Carl and the baby who he is just very glad that all of them are safe. And that brings back a little bit more in Rick. Just like at the end of whenever we were done with Terminus and everything. Well, obviously they came back, but you guys get what I mean. Now, while all of this is going on, we return to the ruins of Woodbury, or what would be the ruins, because it wasn't burned down, but it was, vacated. So there's no one there anymore, and walkers pretty much own the town for the most part. Now, you guys are probably wondering, and yet maybe some of you aren't, because of what I've been teasing this entire time, why are we going back to Woodbury? What could be the reason behind this? Well, like I said about those multiple flashbacks thing, I'll give you only one hint for now. This is the prime reason of how we're going to get those flashbacks. Woodbury is the center of it all. Because on the outskirts, there are survivors. Survivors that were able to get away from all the chaos. And these are the ones that we have. Milton, Lizzie, Mika, Karen, David, and Bob, who had all gotten out of the chaos and escaped Woodbury pretty much before the governor died. So none of them even got shot. They just sort of, booked. Now, how and why? Weren't they with another group like Schumpert or Martinez or something? Well, no. You see, they had nothing to do with it, at all. When the governor had started shooting, true, they were around it and could have very well gotten killed. But that doesn't mean that they were on board with it. They were just bystanders. They weren't soldiers, and they weren't going to go along with it. Sort of like Tyrese and all those other people. So when Bob and Karen, the two leader types of this whole group, saw what was going on, they decided the governor is a little too cray-cray for their liking, and they all booked, taking Lizzie, Mika, and Milton, and David all along for the ride with them, going right to the right side of the Woodbury town and dipping. They didn't care where they went, they just cared that they got out of there and never came back. Because, yeah, it was a doomed town at this point. But they couldn't get far. Oh, they got a good distance away from Woodbury. But as soon as they thought they got far enough, they're struck, or one person struck rather, by an incoming arrow, killing Milton. And who did it come from? Len and the entire group of the Claimers, who were on their tail for a little bit, and eventually decided, you know what, we're just going to take these people's stuff, and we're just going to, they didn't care. The Claimers didn't care who they fought or killed, and especially not whenever it came to people who attacked them, obviously. And now they've decided, you know what, we're done playing games from being hidden, we're just going to kill them all and take their stuff. But before they can, and after killing Milton, Lou is sledgehammered with the weapon down by Jody, another surviving Woodbury soldier who also escaped the chaos just on his own. And he didn't think he'd find anybody, but once he saw this, he knew he had to help, and tells everybody, hey, you need to get out of here. I'll hold them off. And with a flashbang grenade in his hand, or smoke grenade rather, I kind of messed that names up. I get the two confused sometimes. With a smoke grenade in his hand, he clenches it and tosses it straight towards the Claimers, putting smoke all around the area. And at that moment, the others don't need to be told twice, or at all actually. They book, they run. They already had to run away from the Woodbury confusion. They ain't gonna be told to, or they don't need to be told to run again. So they just start booking it, and they don't stop. But they don't get far, because not even 5 minutes later, Karen and David, not burned this time, are shot down by arrows or guns, or really it doesn't matter. They're both killed by Joe, Len, and Dan, the last surviving Claimers. Because luckily, whenever Jody threw the smoke grenade, he was able to take at least a few down, but he didn't get to take all of them down, and he died in vain, pretty much. Bob, knowing this now, is about to lay down his life for Lizzie and Mika, but the both of them now, they've braved up to the point where they're going to stand by Bob's side. They're the only 3 left, so they have to fight. And if you don't believe they could do this, watch the prison scene again. And Joe just looks at this like, oh, how adorable. Another foolish person about to lay down his life, and even the children are too stupid to see that they're outnumbered. Even if it is 3-3, it's just one lone man and 2 little kids. And Joe says that they got lucky with that one guy. If it weren't for that one dude, him and his whole group could have killed them all easily. But sadly, Joe was utterly, completely, and just unmistakably mistaken. Because right at that moment when he ironically jinxes himself, him, Dan, and Len are all gunned down almost instantly, without even getting a chance to see who their attackers are. And who were their attackers? Well, it's the form of Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita, who saw all the chaos from a distance, but didn't know what was going on at first. But they did see the smoke, and the minute they saw the smoke, it's like, maybe it's some people in trouble. And even Abraham and Rosita's like, hey, they could be people that maybe we could take with them, and maybe they need help. And Abraham, he doesn't need to be told twice. He books his van straight towards the carnage and saves Bob, Lizzie, and Mika's lives. And soon afterwards, he's like, looks like you've been through some tough, SHIT, and looked like you could use a lift, and then sees the dead bodies on the ground, and it's like, you lost some people, huh? So have we. But I think that we can help each other. We've got a very important mission if you're willing to help us. And it looks like you definitely need help. Bob, Lizzie, and Mika, they do sense suspicion at first, considering they had just been with the crazy group, the governor, and then just got encountered by another crazy group, the Claimers. They're going to have a little bit of trust issues, even if it, Bob, Lizzie, and Mika, who they are. But this group, being with them, they definitely just saved their butts from getting killed. So, yeah, they're definitely going to go with them, even if they don't know what this quote-unquote mission is yet. So, they all hop in the truck, and with that, they all set off on their way towards Washington. Now, with all these twists and turns, with the Claimers being killed, with survivors like Bob, Lizzie, and Mika going with Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita, and with Rick, Carl, and Morgan and Judith all reunited, with Shumpert and his crew dead, and Martinez joining the group, what other twists and turns could we be expecting? And what other flashbacks and soon-to-be future events will shape the future of this series? And do you think that it will progressively get darker? Or do you think that that this might be the light at the end of the tunnel, considering that Rick has been reunited after seemingly thinking that everyone has died? And that's where we're leaving things for the moment. I mean, he's only reunited with his kids and his friend, but it was just using for, a twist. That's what I do at the end of my videos. I don't know why I'm explaining this, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Might not be as impactful. I don't know why I'm saying that, but honestly, compared to parts 12 and 13, yeah, you're not going to get really more impactful than that for quite a while yet. But I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless, and I'll see you guys next time.